bring a new type of news show.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Bring news just for you. It's Tuesday, December 31st here in Seoul. I'm Song Yujin, and you're watching News Generation. Today, we're joined by Kwon Juyeon.
Good morning, Eugene.
Good morning, and Kang Mun-ju.
Thanks for having me today.
Thank you for joining us. Now, both here to speak on behalf of those in their 20s and 30s. So we're going to move on to our main discussion of the day. Today is December 31st, the last day of 2024. And with the new year just around the corner, we're going to reflect on the past year on today's episode here on News Gen. So I want to start off by asking our panelists, what stands out for you as some of the most memorable moments of this year?
Well, this year, what stands out most of all is the heartbreaking, the Jeju airplane crash, a tragedy that claimed many lives and left the nation in mourning. It reminds us of the need for safety and resilience as we move forward. And it's been quite a year, but the chaotic political scene at the end really stands out as well. Intense debates and unexpected developments made it a headline here and there as breaking news also early in this morning. And also, if we look at the brighter news, individual artists and K-pop groups also reached extraordinary milestones. BTS Jimin's solo track Who topped the list, topped the Circle charts, global K-pop chart for 12 consecutive weeks. And Blackpink's remix of their song is How You Like That dominated music charts as well, holding the #1 position for 8 consecutive weeks, showcasing their continued global appeal. And we will explore the K-pop industry further later.
Right, so there were, of course, both good news and bad news this year as well. And once again, we would like to extend our deepest condolences to all those who were affected by Sunday's morning tragic air crash here in South Korea. Now, moving on to you, Mun-ju, what do you think?
Yeah, I completely agree with Juyeon. I think this year we all experienced lots of ups and downs. Just 2 days ago, as we just talked about, experiencing the grievous Jeju airplane crash and loss. We cannot speak of the year of 2024 without mentioning it. And some other things include a record-breaking heat wave during the summer that even lasted to the fall. I felt like this year I lost my fall, which is one of two favorite seasons of mine. And I've experienced some days I could not move an inch outside, nor could I have survived without air conditioners. And on the cultural ends, Rosie of Blackpink's APT created a global sensation by collaborating with Bruno Mars. And Squid Game Season 2 reached the Netflix's global top 10 list in 93 countries, which is serviced at Netflix. And just 2 days after its release, and it's maintaining its position since then. So I think these are some good parts of this year that we could mention about.
Right, so we've just taken a look at some of the biggest news both here in Korea, globally, on the cultural front, and so much more. And once again, as we wrap up 2024 for our last episode of this year-end series, we'll revisit the year one last time by exploring the top search keywords from Korea's younger generation. So Juyeon, could you walk us through some of the most searched topics of the year, please?
Of course. Well, Google has revealed Korea's top 10 most searched topics of the year. Well, at #1, the Paris Olympics and Paralympics captured the most attention, followed by martial law this December at #2. And housing subscription ranked 3rd, while climate change took the 4th spot. And also the US presidential election landed at #5, with Korea's 2024 general election coming in 6th. Movie Exhumer, an occult hit film, secured 7th place, followed by art director Min Hee-jin at 8th and actor Chung Woo-sung at 9th. And the summer heat wave closing out the list at #10. So these searches highlight the events and trends that shaped Korea in 2024 this year.
Right, so looking at the data, there were several keywords that you guys mentioned earlier that you picked as some of the most memorable moments for you in 2024. So I want to ask once again, as part of this generation, can you relate to this result? And are there any particular events or keywords that especially drew your attention?
Yeah, I can relate to almost all of the top 10 searches as Juyeon mentioned. And in fact, I've searched some of them myself several times. Sport is always a sector that gathers the most public attention,
Right.
similar to like various sports ranking high on the global search chart. The 2024 Paris Olympics and the Paralympics were the most searched keywords in South Korea. As a huge sports fan who studied sport management in college, following them was very exciting for me. And also, the next one that we could talk about is the martial law declared on December 3rd, which was obviously a shocking moment for not only the MZ generation, but the whole nation, hitting second on the list in less than a month. And the MZ generation's like ongoing concerns about like housing subscriptions and purchasing a home stood third on the list, followed by climate change and heat waves. I think the fact that climate change and heat waves ranked higher than any K-pop figure shows that MZers are like more concerned about the environment than ever before that we could talk about.
Right, definitely. We are definitely being more concerned about the environment as well. And I definitely feel that for this year, a lot of big news happened on the latter half of the year because the Paris Olympics took place in the summer as well. And also the martial law imposition, the short-lived martial law imposition here in South Korea also happened in December. Now, I also want to ask you the same question, Jian. What do you think?
Well, personally, one event that really stood out for me was the focus on major elections, including the US presidential
right.
election, which naturally brought related topics to the forefront of the searches. And in cinema, Exuma was particularly memorable as an occult theme film previously highlighted in News Gen before with us. It connected deeply with MZ audiences, and among individuals, two names stood out: art director Min Hee-jin and actor Chung Woo-sung. Min, known for producing New Jeans and her role at entertainment agency Adore, gained significant attention due to her conflicts with another entertainment agency, Hybe, sparking curiosity about the behind-the-scenes dynamics of the K-pop industry. And actor Chung Woo-sung also made waves and headlines when it was revealed that model Gabi is the mother of his child born out of wedlock, making him one of the year's most talked about figures here in Korea.
Right, so 2024 was definitely a year of elections because we had the US presidential election, we had major elections in other parts of the world, including here in Korea. We had the general elections, and also the showbiz industry made a great impact. For example, Min Hee-jin and Chung Woo-sung that you mentioned. Now, we're gonna now focus on the cultural front and break it down further by category, which is K-content, K-pop, books, and movies. So, Bunju, let's first start with K-content.
Yeah, K-content was sensational this year also, as it always is. The most loved K-content by Koreans is Queen of Tears. I personally love this drama as a power like MBTI F-type viewer. There were some moments I cried at some moments. And anyways, Queen of Tears is followed by Culinary Class Wars, a show featuring a chef's competition, then a Killer Paradox and Lovely Runner followed back.
Now, even though it's been months since Queen of Tears ended, it's still making waves online, so we can definitely see its impact on the cultural scene this year. Now, let's move on to K-pop, Julia. We cannot leave out K-pop when talking about the biggest moments of K-culture in 2024, right?
Sure. Well, switching gears to K-pop searches, I'm sure that you will know what took the first spot this year. The #1 spot went to Rosé's APT Apartment, a track that swept the Billboard charts and captured the hearts of Korean MZs as well. This song is a collaboration with Bruno Mars, as you may know, and is characterized by its repetitive and addictive chorus, Apartment, Apartment, and held the top position on the Global 200 chart for 4 consecutive weeks. Coming in at #2 was 밤양갱 by BB with its soft melody and bittersweet lyrics that captured many MZs as well. And following closely were aespa's Supernova, QWER's Addiction to Worry, and Eyelet's Magneting, showing us exactly which songs dominated the spotlight in 2024.
Right, so we definitely saw a lot of female artists and K-pop girl group power in 2024. And one category on the cultural front that has made a big comeback this year, especially here in Korea, is books. And I think you can tell us the reason why, Munju.
Yeah, in the book sector, obviously Nobel Prize recipient Hangang's The Vegetarian ranked first. The Vegetarian, which is a book for Hangang, received a Nobel Prize in Literature, became a mega hit as soon as the winner was announced. The Swedish Academy explained Hangang confronts historical traumas and invisible sets of rules, being in each of her works exposes the fragility of human life. Just additionally, with the vegetarian being the most searched keyword in the book sector, Human X, which is another literary work by Hangang, maintained the top spot on South Korea's bestsellers list for 8 weeks.
Right. So Hangang's works have definitely been flying off the shelves ever since a Nobel Prize win was announced, as she has become the first Asian female Nobel Prize in Literature laureate, as well as the second Nobel Prize winner here in Korea. And last but not least, we're going to move on to the film category, movies.
Yes, that's correct. Well, Exuma took the first spot, the top spot that is, even making it onto the overall rankings. Film Exuma, an occult-themed film released back in February this year, became the first in its genre to surpass 10 million viewers here in South Korea, sparking a nationwide occult trend. Exuma has been praised for its slow burn storytelling that expertly blends South Korean history with intense action scenes. And watching this film with English subtitles, I found the translation of traditional Korean gut, or the shamanistic ritual terms, into English very incredibly fascinating and interesting. The process of interpreting these cultural elements, the cultural words, added another layer of interest to me.
Right, and I also want to mention that Exuma was only one of the 2 movies here in the domestic box office that surpassed the 10 million ticket sales, so it was definitely a big hit here in Korea. Now, we also asked our viewers too what keywords they searched for the most this year and why, and here's what 3 of them said. Our first comment for this Tuesday is renderer EP. Personally, I have kept searching for graduate architecture jobs, still looking. The graduate market in the UK right now is not so good and is very competitive. Benny D97 says, I search for K-pop song lyrics being played on the radio, and that is my keen interest these days. It's essential when adding new songs to your playlist, whether that's old K-pop songs or new releases. Official spiritual success, Squid Game Season 2, and why is it so hard to find Haze? Right, so now to help us better recap 2024 and keywords, we're going to invite a journalist based in Seoul, Korea to our talks after a short break.
NewsGen wants to hear from you. Go to YouTube and search our channel Arirang News. Click Community and leave a comment down below. Make a new type of news with us.
Joining us on this last day of 2024 is Rafael Rashid, a Seoul-based freelance journalist. Welcome, Rafael, and welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. So, Rafael, we want to ask you, as a journalist, what keywords or topics did you look up the most this year in 2024?
Yeah, of course, I think the biggest topic of this year for me has been the impeachment and martial law regarding the failed martial law attempt by President Yoon Suk-yeol. And admittedly, these 2 topics have come at the end of the year, but have probably consumed the most of my time, not only for what they are, but also the legalities and kind of legal terms, the law itself and the constitution, and understanding exactly what it means and what it doesn't mean. And in a way, I feel like I've had to become a kind of pseudo legal expert to try and understand and convey these terms to a wider audience. For instance, insurrection, as I understand, means something else in different countries. So trying to convey what it means has been quite a big topic for me. Maybe on a separate topic, one of the biggest key terms for me was, unfortunately, deepfakes. Unfortunately, the deepfake epidemic that is affecting a lot of society, including in schools, school children and women. So that was one of the big topics, and one of the things that was requested the most to me from foreign media outlets. And I guess finally, the low birth rate issue is timeless, but it keeps on reappearing over and over again. And I think it's a topic that's not going away. Politics in general was, of course, a big topic. And again, unfortunately, at the end of this year, the Jeju air crash has suddenly become one of the biggest topics at this time of the year.
Well, I do agree, Rafael. So from your perspective, what issues, events, trends do you think captured the attention of Korea's younger generation in 2024?
Yeah, coming back to the impeachment, I think this will go down as one of the biggest issues that has captured the imagination or the attention of the young generation. I think, quite frankly speaking, young people are sick and tired of the politics and the animosity between the two sides plaguing the country. I think a lot of young people are disillusioned with politics overall and the people in power. It's clear that the young generation want change, and I think this was very evident in the street protests that we have seen since the declaration of martial law on December 3rd. I myself have seen in the crowds of the protests is predominantly young people and young women, and this is in striking contrast to the impeachment protests that we saw 7-8 years ago against Park Geun-hye. I think we're going to see maybe growing activism among young people, not just in terms of politics, but other issues, including climate change. Just this year, we saw the landmark ruling at the Constitutional Court that found that lack of greenhouse gas reduction targets was a violation of young generation's future rights. And this was a movement led by the young people, the young generation. So I think we're going to see a lot more activism and demands for change from the young generation, not just this year, but next year as well.
Yeah, Rafa, our last question for you today is, looking ahead, what kind of issues or trends do you expect will make the headlines in 2025?
Yeah, I think the impeachment trial of President Yoon Suk-yeol is, of course, going to dominate the news cycle. It's going to be one of the biggest topics of 2025, regardless of the outcome. And I don't think it's going to be an easy process. And there's going to definitely be a lot of ups and downs in the political arena, as we have seen this year. Assuming the impeachment is confirmed by the Constitutional Court, we will obviously have a new presidential election, which again is probably going to become the biggest topic. And even if the impeachment motion does not go through, is not approved by the Constitutional Court, I think it will still dominate, and we will see plenty more protests. I think, given unfortunately what we're witnessing in Muan at the moment with the Jeju Air crash, we're going to see a lot more topics related to this, and also in terms of safety in general. On maybe the international front, the inauguration of President Trump is going to be one of the biggest topics, especially how he deals with South Korea, but also North Korea, and whether he will want to extend a hand to the North Korean leader, Kim Jong-un, again. But on the domestic front in Korea, how Trump will be dealing with, say, troop deployments in South Korea and financial burden sharing and things like that. So I think those will be the biggest topics of 2025.
A lot coming up in 2025. All right, Rafael, thank you so much for your time today, and hope you wrap up your end of the year well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Right, so ending off our last episode of News of the Year, we're going to make a bold prediction for 2025. What do you think will top next year's search trends or keywords?
I think Rafael already mentioned the important keywords for 2025. Given the recent tragic Jeju airplane crash, I hope to see more keywords like air safety and travel resilience trending. This will reflect a collective effort to ensure safer skies and prevent further accident for the future. And I think we have to mention also about the environment issues as well. I predict the climate solutions will top next year's trends as well. As the world seeks answers to, pressing environmental challenges, we need the answer for that. And I anticipate that keywords like AI innovation or ethical AI, which is quite important to study and educate the younger generation, this could dominate next year's trends as well. And so let's hope 2025 becomes becomes a year of progress, safety, and innovation, bringing meaningful changes and hope for everybody.
All for a better and safer world in 2025. Now, what do you think, Moonju?
Yeah, I completely agree with Juhyun, but besides what she said, I think the 2025 Harbin Asian Winter Games could be the one on the list because like Asian Winter Games has been always like an issue in South Korea because like we have some like strong sports such as like speed skating, like short track skating. So I think it could be the one, and the another one could be like some K-pop idols maybe, or like Netflix series, original series. Actually, like Squid Game 3 is expected to release next year, so we could expect one of those series on the keyword. And also because of a complete political chaos we have experienced in 2024, democracy could be another one on the list. And with less than 14 hours left in 2024, I wish everyone the best of 2025, accomplishing anything you wanted to wish, and most importantly, I hope everyone stays safe and healthy.
That's the most important thing. All right, that's all from NewsGen today and this year, but we'll be back in the new year, Wednesday, January 2nd at 10:30, Thursday, January 2nd at 10:30 a.m. Korea time. We're taking a day off tomorrow as it's New Year's Day. Special thanks today to Kwon Ji-hyun.
I'll see you next year.
Thank you, and Kang Moon-ju.
I'll see you next year also.
Thank you, and thank you everyone for watching and staying tuned to NewsGen this year, and hope you tune into our program next year as well. Hope you have a great start to the new year. We are News Generation.